Oh, here we go. All right. It's a Friday, right? It is Friday? It is Friday. I like Fridays. I'm a little scattered today. It was a busy day, actually. So, let's see if I can get to it. All right, let's move things around here, get things going, get this ball rolling. All right. Let's get the screen size back to normal. Nope, that's not what I meant. Boosh. Okay. So I gotta work on this. I'm probably gonna do this kind of the whole time. It's not too code intensive or anything. It's just SVG drawings with code for this quilt pattern. That's basically the deal for the day. And just gotta finish up a few of these figures here. And we'll see how far I can get. That's gonna be me for the day. Let's see here if I can get things going. What am I trying to do? Should I All right, let's see. All right, let's do. Let's see what I can do here. Okay. All right, what's my deal? Don't have much of a deal. I just want it to be the weekend, and since it's not the weekend, I have some other work I can do instead. That's the whole thing. That's it. That's everything. All right, so I am in the process of making some of these diagrams here. So this particular one, I have to change it up a little bit, but it just fixed it up a little bit. This is done. All right, so actually I can copy this to here And all right, what am I doing here? So this figure, I have to change it up. I don't need all of these borders. I actually just need this bottom one. Is that gonna work? I think it will. Yes, okay, good. Now here I want to make this scale increase. And just trying to think what I want to do here. That would make this position need to be four and a half. I think that's correct. Yes, okay. So here, the reason I'm doing this is because I need to add a few markings to this. I think I probably want to go 1 inch more though. Just a little bit further here. Should be good. And then I can bring the size of this way down, about 200 height, 200 pixels in height. All right, so now it's just a matter of adding a few markings relevant, I should say, to the prose here. Right, so here, this, I have to, trying to parse the instructions a bit and come up with a way to show a little bit of it diagrammatically. This is the challenge of making assembly type instructions. I ran into this like in industrial design work too, is you have to balance clarity without being too verbose, and it can be a trick. It's more art than science, you know? All right, but enough of that. That's not an excuse. I just need to get to work on this part here. So all I need to do, I'm going to add some dots and lines basically, and that's easy enough. Circle with a radius of small. We'll translate it to some position that's going to change, but just stub something in, and then give it a style with the class attention, which I just know exists already. Okay, so let's see if that dot is a good size. Oh, it's not gonna, oh no, it shows up. Let's do maybe 1, 2, 5. Okay, that should be good. Right, so let's see here. It looks like I need to go, well, first of all, let's just do this. 3's fine. 5. Hey, that was right on the money. Now I just need to move it over, I want to say 19. So to 22 should get me right on the corner here, I think. Yeah, it's perfect. Now here we can do, we can make a line, and I'm going to make it from 22.5 to 2.5, and we just have to give it a style that'll stick out appropriately. I think that'll work. I have to see. Oh, I wrapped this in a list. It doesn't need to be in a list. Wrong button. It's there, but it's impossible to see. Maybe it's not there. Let's take the class away. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong diagram. Okay, so it is there, it's just hard to see it, so let's change that. I'm gonna make it extend past the edges so you can kind of see. It's just a marking line, it's not an actual line in the diagram, right? Oops, I changed the wrong ones. Oh, there we go. So I meant to change this, of course. Yeah. You can also make the stroke width greater. I think 2 pixels is going to be bigger than what it is now. It's hard to pick the colors sometimes for legibility. Not sure what I prefer. I think blue is maybe better. Let's try cyan. We need something that doesn't like literally burn your eyes while you look at it, but still has good contrast. Cyan might be a good call here. Yeah, okay, so that I think is going to be good. Yeah, so now I need to annotate with a few arrows and labels. I think the arrow style should be the same cyan, like this. Let's make the height 4.5. And let's see here. Let's try 8 and 12. See how that looks. Oh, the arrow is going to be pointing the wrong way, but see, now that's a little hard to read now. Bummer. Okay, so let's do 13 and 10. Let's try that. Let's just stick with blue then. Yeah, that's a good idea for sure. All right, and here now we need to slap a label on there and give it font size, probably going to be, the font scale down is probably going to be like that. So translate, let's do here now, probably I want to translate it to 11 and 4. So all these translate positions are from the origin point of the particular SVG diagram that I'm working on, which is approximately here. So I'm just estimating based on the zoom level and what I know the dimensions of these blocks to be. So if it's hard to, like, it's a little unintuitive to see how it's being built up, but you get pretty good at estimating things and moving things around. It would be a little easier if it were more, like if it were quicker, right? But it's automatic, it's just not perfectly real time. And I've been thinking about how I can improve the editing workflow of this kind of stuff, but I don't have a proper solution yet. That's going to take some time. In the meantime, this works pretty well for still making good documents. So it's not like I can't do the work I need to do. So that's good. So those, yeah, and so now I need one more arrow. Actually, let's do it like this. Oh. I might not need to put any style on this arrow, so it might be fine the way it is, but let's see. I want this to end at position . Let's see if that, oops. Yeah. See if that ends up where I need it to. It's close, but not quite right. kind of okay. All right, so the reason for that is now I can add another label, leave, how do I specify this? Let's go here. I'm missing something somewhere here. Oh no, here, keep. Oh, I'm reading the wrong thing, no wonder. Eesh. Okay. Here we go. Keep the seam of the fabric A square free. Yeah, so let's keep existing seam free from this new seam. I don't know if that makes sense. It should be fine, probably. Just translate it, get it in the right position, and that should finish this up. It's probably at 8.5 vertically, and I don't know, 10. It's close. Okay, that looks pretty clear to me. I think that's going to be good. So last thing I can do is I can just reduce the total height of this diagram a bit, just to keep that. The reason to do that is so the customers of these things end up printing them, and if you can reduce the total number of pages that are going to be used, that's nice. But you want to make it, you want the document to be compact, but not so compact that it's hard to follow it at all. So there's a balance to be struck with that. Okay, so figure 9 looks good now. Figure 10 in step 7. So there's one thing I was working on a little bit yesterday. Going forward, I want to automate more of this editing process, and one of those things is stuff like this. Whenever there's a call out of fabric types, I wrap it in a strong tag like this, and it's not a ton, so I've been doing it manually, and figures get turned into emphasis tags like that. But it's just a little tedious to do this manually over the whole project. So I want a way to convert HTML. I want to convert a document like a Word doc to HTML to hiccup, run it through some analysis, manipulate the data, pull the relevant components, automatically format certain things to specific rules, this being an example, and then use that as the basis so that most of the work is done. Oh, excuse me. All right, so here we've got figure 10 is sewing the border corners. It's going to be, actually, here's a good idea, I think. Let's take center unit. Use that as a starting point. Is this a smart way to do it? Actually, I don't know. No, I'm gonna change my approach a bit here. There's a lot of similarities between these diagrams, so I'm gonna use that as a starting point instead. So instead of so here the diagram I'm working on is basically this one where you want to sew things in that order. So let's change the dot positions like this. Ooh, I should also get the one border unit. I think it's this one. No, it would be this one. So close. Right, so what I forget now how to position this. That's okay. Okay, so I have to do 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, minus 7 inches. Oops. Only 6. Yeah, so now actually what I do want to do is just ever so slightly gap it. So this will be 625 to show that it's being attached, not that it is attached yet. Yeah, that should be fine. This line will have to move in a moment. This circle, let's make this one 2.5. This one's going to be 2.6, and then we'll make another one. It's going to be 0.06, I think. Yep, that should be good. Yeah, and then this, let's move this line now. From 2.5 to 2.6. Then this, and then another line with the same style. From 2.6 to 0.6. Yeah, that should be okay. It's a little hard to, maybe I have to move all of this over. It's a little, gets a little messy in this, doing things in this sort of ad hoc way. It's not bad, but I can improve things, right? There we go. Close them up. That'll shift everything ever so slightly, give the clearer edge definition here. Oh, let's move it 1/4 inch. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now, let's move these arrows now as well. Okay, so let's say it's 2.5. Instead of 4, let's make it 3.75. And then this one's going to be 2.5 and 6.25. See if it looks good. It's a little weird looking. Yeah, I don't know about that. Let's do it this way, maybe. Maybe that does look better. This is the wrong, should be 5 anyway. Okay, so 4.75 will look a lot better. Yeah, that looks okay. I can be happy with that. So we want another blue arrow to be part of the annotation here. And we just have to adjust its positioning a little bit. Let's make it start at 2.25 and 6.25 and end at 0.625. Oop. Close. It's a little off, just slightly off from the appearance I want here. So instead of 0, we'll make it 1/8 of an inch. And here, let's make this 0.3. That's pretty good. And now the word so can pop way back. Let's make it 6. Might even be 5.5. Maybe is a good spot. Wait, what? I don't understand what's going on here. Well, whatever. That's just going to have to be fine. I wonder if there's a weird interaction with the scale functions. Am I also not changing the right thing? No, we're good. We should be. I don't know. So there's little bits of my SVG library that I still need to decide on a better way to approach it, but it's getting better and better. Okay, so this is 1 and 2. All right, so 1, we can move like this, and 2 will move to 1.5 and 6. So all of these annotation things are really hard for me to figure out how to do, how to make it like quick and easy to do it in a programmatic way. I would imagine there's some sort of semi-automatic layout engines that would help with this kind of thing. And I've been thinking about it a lot, but it seems actually like a non-trivial task. All right, let's see if that... Oh, these keep existing things I don't need either, actually. So let's get rid of that. Oh no, what did I just do? Ugh, I deleted one of the arrows I need. That's my bad. There it is. I think that's going to be good. You know, when it goes through an edit, when it goes through edit phase, I can, you know, if need be, we can tighten up some of these diagrams. Oop, that's too small. Looks like go by 10. Okay, that looks good. Okay. Okay, this is a border function. So there's a lot of, I wonder if there's a smart way to auto border something. That would be really cool. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a diagram here. Da 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 da. Dum, bum 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 bum. Okay, center a unit. Number C. Number C is not correct. It's a group where you group in center unit B with the translate inward. Since the borders being added are going to end up as, so they're 1 inch thick without sewing. You sew with a 1/4 inch seam. There's seams on both sides at the end of the whole construction. So the visible final dimension of this is going to be 1/2 inch width. So that means I have to translate the center block in by 1/2 an inch to allow visibility of the rest of the border. So we translate it that way. Easy enough, right? Yeah, I think that's correct. That seems to make sense to me. All right, so that's the center unit. Then the rest of this, oh boy, oh dear, is rectangles at various dimensions with various translations. And the same, theoretically the same, no, not translate, style. These are going to have a class with a line style or line class, I mean, and fabric F, which is named Meadow Pine Pan. Okie doke. There we go. And just add it to this component so it shows up in the render diagram. I think that'll actually render. Oh, wrong number of arguments. Hey? What did I do? I have done something wrong. Oh, once again, I'm sometimes mixing up my, oh hey, wow, so Clutch, how's it going? I was thinking, I was in the middle of thinking, so I might have missed, hopefully I didn't leave you hanging for too long. Hope you're doing well today. All right, so here we go. This is the diagram I just got here. Okay, good. Cool. How are you doing today? Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're looking forward to the weekend. Doing pretty well. End of your lunch break. You won't be here too long. Hey, no problem. That's cool. Hey, thanks for stopping by anyway. You are looking forward to the weekend? Oh man, I know that feeling. You know, I love streaming, but even now I'm thinking, okay, well, when the stream's done, that means it's my weekend or close to it anyway. And it's always great. My weekends are usually really busy, but it's a totally different busy than like a work day, right? It's just really enjoyable. Got anything fun planned for the weekend? or just using it to relax. You're technically on call? Oh, bummer. Should be pretty quiet. Well, okay, then it's not so bad. Relaxing. You know, there are some weekends where I pack it full of stuff, see friends, go visiting people, do lots of stuff, and those are great weekends. And then there's weekends where I intentionally don't plan anything. Sit down, play a game I wanted to catch up on, or read some books, and those days are great too. I love it all. So that sounds nice. That sounds really good for you. I mean, relaxing, I think it's important. You'll probably just be playing some games with some people, watch some shows, maybe code a bit. Nice. Run some errands. Yeah. You know, the weekends, they don't always have to be packed with special things, right? I like those normal weekends just as much as the special ones, I think. All right, so let's see here. What am I actually attempting to do? Oh yeah, I want to, so this little green block in the top here, I have to convert it into a border element to this whole thing. Doing nothing is enjoyable alone. Yeah. I think the reason it's so fun to do nothing is because it's in contrast to you know, a super busy week and stuff like that. The pattern looks cool. Yeah, thanks. So this is a quilt design, and I don't quilt myself. My mom does, and she designs patterns and sells them. So right now I manually create a lot of these diagrams for the pattern using SVG and a Clojure library I'm working on. The idea is to build it into a set of tools, maybe make a nice interface to it so that I don't have to manually do them at all anymore. And I can sell it either as an app, or I could sell my design services or something like that. But that's, you know, sometime in the near future. This is an iterative approach, right? My library is more and more complete with every one of these that I do. And this particular pattern looks nice. It's a fun design. So one thing I always try to look for is, how can I explain this? So right now, there's a lot of really, call it imperative drawing that I have to do. So for example, this green thing, let's say I wanted to make it a bigger square. I have to go in there and state the exact dimensions, and if I want to move it, I have to translate it myself. So I'm literally just telling the computer, hey, draw things exactly as I tell you, and that's fine, but I want to kind of have higher level functions that do a lot of calculation on my behalf. One example that's pretty cool is, so this particular diagram here in step 5 uses a little function I made called line up. And this is cool, in my opinion. Sorry, it's actually here. This line up function takes a axis and a gap number, and then a list of items to line up along the axis direction, so X or Y. And you can change the gap distance, and it automatically calculates transforms, so I don't have to do I don't have to calculate the transforms for all of these parts. So see that? I can make the gap 0, and it butts everything up against each other. And if I make it 1, right, it puts a 1-inch gap between them. So that's the kind of higher level abstraction that I'm looking for. Every time I make patterns like this, I'm trying to think of, this would be a useful functionality to pull into its own thing. And it's really fun to work that way. The nice sort of iterative approach feels really powerful. You do have to be a little bit patient and attentive to things that you can make easier, and that's not always easy. But it's a fun, in my opinion, it's been a really fun way to kind of craft a powerful library, because you don't bother to guess what features you need aside from the fundamentals. You just you give yourself some basic building blocks, and then you discover new things to make from those blocks, and over time you build in these powerful little tools. It's a lot of fun. I don't think I'm revolutionizing how you do programming or anything. It's just a fun, I don't know, it works well with how my brain seems to work, and I just really have a good time doing it. So this is 24 inches long. That's pretty cool. How'd you learn Lisp? I taught myself, actually. So I used to work I studied mechanical engineering, and I used to work as I guess you could call it industrial designer. So I designed, for a while, mixing pump units for the irrigation systems in greenhouses. So you have to mix nutrients into the water before you go put it out to the plants. So I made those mixing units, and then I worked at greenhouse manufacturing and stuff like that. So I started teaching myself Python, but I won't get into the details. I actually decided that it'd be pretty powerful to sit and learn a Lisp language at least, and I've been using Clojure ever since. I just powered through a little bit. You're wondering because you've programmed in a few languages, you've not done much Clojure or Lisp, mainly just Emacs Lisp. And the closest thing you've used was Ruby. You use Python day in and day out at the moment. Oh yeah, so I learned Clojure because it's hard to explain, but I kind of just wanted to. I had watched a talk from the creator of the language, Rich Hickey, and I really liked the way he thinks about problems and the way he communicates them. And I thought, well, that's a pretty interesting way of thinking. Maybe that is reflective in how the language is developed. And so I just decided to learn it, and it worked out really nicely. But, wondering if I had any learning resources? Well, so if you want to do Clojure specifically, I could point you to a few sites quickly. So I used to use Python. I still do occasionally. It's a great language, nothing nothing against any of the languages you've mentioned, right? In fact, I should learn a few more here and there. You're not abandoning ship. Okay. No, that's probably wise, right? Python is pretty amazing. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it. Just like learning things. Yeah. No, I get that. So one popular place to start, you can use this book is completely free online. It's called Clojure for the Brave and True. I've used bits and pieces of it. I did not go cover to cover with this myself, but it is well received and people like it. It's a good place. There's what else would be good? Eric Normand, Clojure. I've used this site as well. You have to pay for these courses, but Eric Normand creates this is not what did he call it? He has a course site. I'm trying to remember what the name of the course site is. Oh yeah, purelyfunctional.tv. You can buy a monthly thing, or you can monthly subscription, cancel anytime, or you can buy on a per course basis if you want to do that. He has a few videos for free, so watch some of those to see if you like his style. It's maybe not for everyone, but I found it clear and helpful without being it found the line of being technical enough and not overly verbose, so I found it really helpful. There's Clojure and Slack if you want to ask questions. I've not really been part of this for too long. Clojurians don't use Slack much, just Discord. So there might be a Clojure Discord, I don't know actually, and Teams at work. Yeah, I actually don't use Slack much either. The only Slack I use is this one, and I'm not on it much. So, but it's there if you want it. Another great site is Closuredocs.org. I use this all the time. So what you can do is you can click through the core library. You can see all the namespaces. You can, let's just pick something kind of at random here. Let's pick the function distinct. It gives you the doc string here. And then users provide examples. And these examples have been extremely valuable to me. There's also, if you're looking at a particular function, there's usually a see also, which I found is really helpful for discoverability. You know, if I'm trying to do, like if I'm trying to, I don't know, split a list into distinct segments or something like that, I might search for split. Oops, if I could spell, right? This is spit, that's not the same. Anyway, that was a horrible example apparently. Anyway, if you know the function map, right, it gives you everything you need. Scroll down, there's a bunch of results here. So map cat's a little different. Hey look, users and stuff like that. No worries, you got it, cool. Yeah, so those are the resources I've used, and just patience and trying to get things running myself is really, that's the primary thing. So I'm not the leading expert in Clojure. I think I'm getting better every day, but I'm self-taught, so you know there's probably gaps. But this has been my method, is I know these resources that are pretty reliable, and just do stuff with projects. And so, you know, it seems like you know at least Python pretty well. It seems like you've at least experimented with other languages. So I'm sure a lot of that is familiar to you. It seems like you probably got a really good base to start learning fairly quickly. So if you're interested in learning it, I am maybe biased, but I recommend it. It is a really fun language to use. And Lisp languages are interesting in and of themselves. There's a lot of people that contribute to Lisp languages who are thinking about programs in a unique way, and I love that. You've got Ruby, Python, PHP, JavaScript, some C, O, and Bash. Yeah, you'll be fine. Lisp is definitely different than those, but you know, you'll handle it for sure. Anyone can learn these things. Anyone can do it. Oh, you also know some dead languages. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so that's a whirlwind tour of the resources I use to teach myself a little bit of Lisp here. So also, if you're familiar with Emacs Lisp as well, that means you don't really have to struggle with syntax. Clojure modernizes a few things about it adds a little bit of syntax into Lisp, but like it's just stuff like this, using vectors for arguments and stuff like that. So define this function, and then the argument list is, instead of just putting it in regular parens, you put it in square brackets, right? So little things like that. Shut off, got a few things you want to wrap up. Hey, no worries. Wow, so Clutch, thanks for tuning in. I always love it when people stop in and chat. Yeah, thanks for the info. Yeah, thanks for asking. Glad to help where I can. Have a good rest of your day at work. Hopefully things go well for you, and hopefully no one hopefully your on-call weekend is nice and quiet. Have a good day too. Yeah, I sure will. Thanks. All right. Where was I? What? Something got auto-modded? That's weird. I don't understand why that happened. Probably because you spam too much? Oh, okay. So there's the OP and SO. I think those are common short forms for original poster and significant other or something like that. So they like flag it as potentially personal. I don't know. That's strange. I'm not going to worry about it though. Man, what? The internet's a strange place. See you later. All right, let's see here. Actually, this is a good time for me to get myself some coffee. I'll be back in just a minute. There we go. All right, let's get this border all sorted out. Okay. So here I want to translate it into its proper position. It's going to be 12 and a half, I think. Hey, that's kind of correct. Cool. Right, so I actually want to move this, no, this stays. I want to move this to the bottom part, which will be what's the dimension? It's 22. It'll have to be 22 and a half, right? Oh, I was off. 24. Oh, and it 24.75. That's what it'll have to be. Cool. So then the next one, so what I'm trying to, I don't know if it's even visible here. Can't really see it. Hey, Cobra. Good to see ya. Hope you're doing well today. Oh, where's my document? There it is. I think, yeah, this one has to be like this. Oop. All right, so this second one is 24.5 tall and a 1/2 inch wide, and I only want to translate it 1/4 inch and 12.125, I think. Same old, eh? Still popping into stream to stream, looking at YouTube videos, hoping you pick something new in programming. So are you watching tutorials, or are you watching sort of more general videos? What kind of stuff are you looking into? Nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's a big it's a big category, right? So you could find all kinds of stuff. Is that the right dimension? So 1/24 is this bottom piece. This one's oh, I see how that is. So you're on YouTube, some more Linux distros, which one and why. And for streams, you're looking at Python and C streamers. No one does C. It's like a forgotten language. Yeah, so probably a lot of people who stream who would use C might be streaming a language called Rust. I'm not sure if you've heard of Rust. I would be a little careful to say, like, C's not dead, but the use cases are a little more niche than they used to be, you know? C is still, I'm trying to think of a good example of a C program that's still really powerful and useful. I mean, a lot of people do C++ stuff still, or C#. What am I even doing here? So yeah, Rust, I just bring up Rust because I would imagine a lot of people who are good, Rust and C are not the same, but they're kind of, people who like C might also understand and use Rust. Why is Rust so powerful? There's a few reasons. It's got good tools. It's got good libraries. It's backed by Mozilla, I think. The community can be involved in designing the language and stuff like that. There's some modern ideas that make it pretty powerful related to memory safety and stuff like that, which the details I can't get into right now, but that make it desirable for some people. It's a fast language. It is similar to C, and there's another reason. There's this new thing called WebAssembly. Again, another thing, you don't have to worry about this if you're just starting a lot of stuff. Really, don't stress about all of this stuff. These are things you can learn over time. But WebAssembly is a new way to newish way to to write programs and to run them in a web environment. So instead of using JavaScript, you might write a program in Rust, compile it with the WebAssembly compiler tools, and then run it on a web browser. It's just a different way to make web applications, and it can be a really powerful way to write really fast code for the web. Again, don't worry too much about it. If you're just learning stuff, this is all detail that doesn't matter too much. It's HTML with extra steps. No, it's very different than that. It's hard to explain. So HTML is on its own, it's just the content of a page, right? JavaScript is the programming language on the web. WebAssembly and Rust is a way that you can write applications without necessarily needing to use JavaScript. Again, don't worry too much about it. I'm just pointing out that Rust and C are they're in the same kind of ballpark. So people who know C might be streaming Rust a little bit more. Yeah. Anyway. See a lot of Rust streamers, not the game, yeah. Yeah, so Rust is pretty popular. And so honestly, I'm not a Rust programmer, at least not yet anyway. I have to teach myself some Rust. Feel free to stop into some of their streams and ask why they like Rust, right? They'll actually have better answers than I do. And so there might be other stuff that that I don't even know about, So don't take my word for it. Go go figure these things out, right? I don't mean to be dismissive. I just mean other people will have better answers is what I'm trying to say. 12.75, there you go. Linux, it's hard to pick one. You were thinking of starting with Arch and learning from mistakes. Yeah, it could work. Everyone's saying Ubuntu. Well, so honestly, are you putting it on like your only computer, or do you have another computer that you can mess around with it on, and you've got you're doing it on a VM. If you're doing it on a VM, start with Arch, totally trash it, mess it up completely. No problem. No problem at all. So if you're doing a VM, you don't even have to choose, right? You can get an Ubuntu install and an Arch install and literally try both of them, Okay, say Monday I'm going to do Arch, and then Tuesday I'm going to try the same kind of thing in Ubuntu, you could totally do both. There's not much downside especially if you're using a VM. At least, that from my perspective, it seems like a no-lose situation, Not putting it on your main PC. Probably a smart decision. Probably good. This one is not 24, it's 25 inches, and I translated 13 and 0.25. There we go. Oh, I was off. Okay, so now what I want to do is try come up with a function. Simple border. I want to give it an element, and then I want to give it border thickness and an element like that. That's what I want. Not gonna lie, I don't know why I want to change to Linux. I think it's because it's faster and you'll feel like a true programmer. Well, so in terms of feeling like a true programmer, I know what you're saying. I totally get that feeling. Just try to get over needing to feel like a true programmer, if I could be so bold. I only mean that there might always be something that someone else can say, oh, you haven't learned this thing? Well, you're not a true programmer. Or, oh, but you didn't do this, you know? Like you're getting peer pressured? Do you mean I'm peer pressuring you? I hope not. I'm not intending to pressure you. Or you mean like other people are pressuring you to feel like a true programmer? Oh, okay. I gotcha. Yeah, it's a tough one. Yeah, other people are doing that. It can be tricky for sure. So here, I don't know if this will help you at all, but a true programmer is someone who writes programs. There's nothing else about it, right? You can be a true programmer if you have a notebook and a pen, no computer whatsoever. And if you think of algorithms and you write down code, and then you give it to someone who has a computer and say, hey, try to run this. Like you could be a true programmer without owning a computer at all, right? I'm totally serious. What makes someone a programmer is the act of writing programs, right? Nothing more, nothing less. The reason people start to care a lot about using Linux or using this editor, using that programming language is because they can be really powerful. They can speed up your writing. They can make you think differently. So it's useful to use those tools, but using tool A over tool B doesn't make you better or worse. It's just a different approach, right? But you do like the idea of a fully customizable distro, and your laptop's on a hard drive. It's not the fastest. Linux could speed it up. It can speed it up, yeah. And so yeah, like there's nothing wrong with wanting to use a distro. Like, I guess what I'm saying is try not to worry about any of that so much. If you're interested in trying it out, go for it. It's fun. It can be a lot of fun. But if you don't want to, then don't. You know, if other people say you have to, they're not. It doesn't matter. As long as you're writing programs, you're a programmer. At least, you know. That's my take on it. It's more personal. Like a Linux distro, you mean? Because you can customize it? Everyone else is using Windows. You want to show that you're more serious? Yeah. I can promise you this. The distribution you use and the editor you use don't matter as much as the way you think about and the way you write programs. I'm not trying to shame you out of using this or using that. Use whatever tools you want. Like, have at it. It can be so much fun. It's fun to look different. It's fun to be unique. I totally get all of that. I'm just saying you don't have to worry about it. If it's stressing you out, no problem. It's all about writing the programs, you know? But I get it. I do. It's like, it's fun to be the only person wearing a different kind of hat or whatever. I get it. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong at all. But then, so if you're gonna do Arch and or Ubuntu, try them both in your VM. That's the next thing you do. Don't ask any more people what their opinions are. Just make a choice and try it, and learn some stuff that way. You know. There's a point where if you keep trying to find opinions and research and stuff past the point of, if you're not learning anything new from that, you're wasting your time, right? Just try something. If you're doing it in a VM especially, you'll have nothing at all to worry about, right? You just trash the VM and start over. Just give it a shot. Okay, so I want to make a function that generates a simple border, and it's going to do it by giving me... what's the right approach here? Get that? You want to make it harder. You want to make it harder for you to code. You're not an expert. You want to trick your brain into being smarter. I'm not sure I understand your logic on that one, to be honest. I found the trick to being smart, if you want to use the word smart, is spending time studying things. You want to apply the same concept but into coding. Oh, okay. It's like when you said fake study. Well, so I said start fake studying, right? I meant that if you start fake studying, the idea is you will quickly get into real studying, you know? Like, you actually do have to do real studying, right? So I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, you want to... You have to put in effort if you want your brain to make new connections, right? There's no way around that fact. If you want to learn to play a musical instrument, you have to learn scales, learn notes, and spend a lot of time practicing. If you want to get good at speedrunning a video game, you have to learn how to play the game normally. You have to learn some of the exploits. You have to practice some of the tricks. You have to spend the time and take the effort. There's no way around that. And the same is true of programming. So making it artificially more difficult may be actually a detriment for long-term benefit. But I do kind of know what you're getting at. You do want to set yourself up for success, right? So if you feel like you're in the programming mindset, then I can see how it could be helpful. If you use commands every day, you'll be a better coder. Potentially, maybe. I mean, commands and using the terminal can, once you understand how those things work, there's a lot of cool automations you can do. So it is definitely a fun way to learn. So it's not a useless skill. Yeah, and if you force yourself to use the command line, you'll learn it pretty quick. So you're not totally wrong, for sure. But, don't miss the forest for the trees, right? Like I said, when you delete all your games and social media, now your brain's more into programming. One of the best decisions you made. Yeah, that's if it's working for you, that's great. You want to take steps to get better at something, you got to take action. It sounds like you're making the right steps. That's good. That's totally good. Okay, I want to try and make this function do something useful for me. Okay, well, let's start with a let. We can always start with that, right? This let is going to take the oops, SVG bounds of the element. I think that'll work. Let's try return this. Okay, let's build this. Do you know what tools so you're in first year university, is that correct? I think you mentioned that the other day. Yeah. Do you know what kind of setup your professor or your TA, like your teacher's assistant, if you have any of those, what they use? Let's run simple border on center unit B. Huh. Oh, right. I forgot to do this. Yeah, okay. So this does return. Okay, that's good. No idea. They're smart, but you feel like you have to go ahead and teach yourself. You can't stand his slow teachings. That's a bummer. I mean, yeah, if the prof is a little you're ahead on assignments by 2 months or so, do you know that you've done the assignments correctly? Good. So like that's great if you've done that. Just it's possible sometimes if you go ahead you might make mistakes that you don't realize. Or have you handed them in and stuff or got feedback already? I just am asking this because I remember feeling similarly at first in some of my courses. And then the difficulty ramped up before I was ready. And then I found myself really stressed out trying to study. But that I'm not saying that'll happen to you. I'm just relating it to my own experience. You don't blame him. He's just teaching not very bright students. Yeah, sometimes that is the case. If you have a big enough class, you know, the pace of things can slow down a little bit because you need a huge group of people to be able to follow things a little bit. That can be a little bit tedious sometimes. Okay, so this border is getting the right dimensions. So let's pop that back into the let here. We'll do it this way. Well, I want the width and height of the main unit to be WH there. And then now here, let's just start by returning this structure here, basically. Minus I think this could be okay. Let's try this. Element, let's translate it. Well, it's got to be t divided by 2. Oop. Oh, there we go. T divided by 2. You hate group assignments. Everyone does it last minute with so many mistakes. You'd rather do everything alone. Can't trust anyone. Yeah, group assignments can be a real challenge. I found if you try, I found you're doing okay last semester. You got 92 out of 100 in Java. You know where you made mistakes? It's because you didn't care about the exam. It's only year 1. Yeah, so, you know, the first year stuff, it might not be too difficult, but it's just a good opportunity to to try and build good habits around studying, around focusing, those sorts of things. It's also a good time to try and make some genuine friends in your classes. That way, if you have some, good friends that you can start to trust, they make group assignments a little bit easier. The other thing too is after year one, some people will drop out or shift courses and stuff like that. So you end up, as time goes on, with people who are more serious with that particular line of studying. And you do find it does get a little easier to work with your classmates. So just be patient. I know it's hard sometimes, but you do end up finding people who you can work with quite well. But yeah, group assignments can be a real challenge. I know that feeling well. But have fun with it too, right? Like studying is important, but it doesn't have to be bad, right? It can be a lot of fun. Challenge can be good. You found yourself with a lot of free time. That's why you decided to get into Linux and learn a new language. Sounds like a good use of your time, as long as you're enjoying it, right? Or you find value in it in some way. You don't always have to enjoy everything you do, but if you can find value in it, that's kind of the trick, I think. So this one is just going to be the normal. Ooh. This one will have to be the width, yeah. And then this is going to be the T. That makes sense. And here is the tricky thing. I take that out. Yeah. It's perfect. It's beautiful. By the way, I hope I don't sound like I'm lecturing you and everything, right? I'm just sharing a little bit of my own experiences, right? Like you live your life your own way. You do what you want. You don't have to listen to a stranger on the internet, right? In fact, often that's not a good idea. But I'm just sharing some of my own, what I remember, Life's unfair. A friend and a girl went for the same company interview, same position. She got the job, even though he scored double her score in every exam. Well, I know what you're getting at. Just be careful with assumptions. Don't get too bitter over things, is all I can say. Maybe it is an example of unfair hiring. That could very well be the case, but unfortunately, people hire for more than just grades, right? Grades on a test doesn't necessarily indicate that you'll be a good fit. It sometimes does, and it might legitimately be really unfair, and that sucks. That's too bad. I just mean, just be careful. Don't let yourself get bitter over things like that, right? Roll with the punches a little bit. If there's genuine injustice, it's important to pay attention to what you can do to change things. But if it's just, sometimes it's just the way things are, and it's just hard to know. Just don't make huge assumptions, right, is my advice. But yeah, you're right. Life can be really unfair sometimes. Totally. Okay, here, this one is going to be the thickness. This is going to be the height plus the thickness. The translate, I haven't adjusted the translates yet. This one, I'll get to these in a minute. Let's finish this stuff here. This one, thickness. That looks good. And this one, this is not the height, this one's actually the width. And then this one is the thickness and height plus, T plus T. That's okay, came here to ask questions. I like it when people give an opinion. Gives me a new perspective on things. Okay, cool. I just don't want to become I don't want to become, old programmer man yells at internet, That it's not a good look. Definitely not my favorite look. Okay, center unit C. Let's see what my work in progress function actually spits out here. I don't know that it'll work perfectly, but let's see what happens. 0.5 is the thickness of the border, and the element is center unit B. It kind of worked. A little bit. Let me rearrange this actually. Ooh, I did it wrong. There we go. Center unit B. Oop. At this point I'm more useful than your professor. Uh-oh. Guess it's not a good sign for your professor, eh? I feel like he focuses on the disabled students more. It's like he doesn't bother with me. By disabled, do you mean people who are struggling more? If that's what you mean, just be a little bit careful with the words you use to describe things. Try to be respectful, right? Yeah. I going to assume you don't mean anything bad, but just be a little bit careful with the words you use is all I'm going to say, okay? I don't think you mean any disrespect, but it's important to pay attention to that stuff, Nothing offensive? No, that's good. That's good. I assume goodwill. But I guess what I'm saying is struggling to understand some concepts does not make you disabled, right? That is what I mean. So that's why just have to use the words with discretion if you can. All right, center unit B. I want to apply a style to it. Oh wait, I have to do simple border 0.5 like that. SVG style element class. What was the color here? Meadow pine. Oop. There we go. Understand he wants them to pass and get the results up. He's still my teacher too. Yeah. A mild defense of the professor is it's super hard to balance the needs of every student, but that's not to say they shouldn't try, right? Like hopefully it's part of their work. Hopefully they care to try. If things are not working the way you need them to, it is okay to go and ask the professor for guidance or for help or suggestions. If things are a little too easy, you could go to the professor during office hours or something and say, hey, this, I'm a little bit ahead on the assignments. Is there something that you think would be worth my time to study? Like you can talk to the professor too. If you would find that helpful. All right, so something went wrong and I'm not sure what. Let's see here. Oh, I'm using the wrong function names. I'm having a brain fart day, apparently. Hey, it worked. That's a win. All right, except now things are skewed and they're not quite what I need them to be. It might be because this is not supposed to be divided by 2. It's just supposed to be the thickness directly. How about that, huh? How about that one? Okay, that's good. All right, so now I do need to fix these. So this translate has to be the thickness plus half of the width. Yeah, I think that's right. And then this one has to be half of the thickness plus the full width. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay. Okay. Next bit. Zoop. Copy paste. Good old copy paste. Right, and this one is half of the height plus, wait. Let's just figure this one out. Oop. Yeah, Cobra, school, there's a lot of little challenges about school, little frustrations, right? I think as you go through, it's not always easy. It's definitely not always fun, but try to remember that, there's some, there's hopefully some nice reason that you want to be studying. If you genuinely want to learn, then school is a really fun time, right? Or it can be. So just, I guess, do your best to keep the benefits in your mind, right? And you get what you put in, right? There's no way around having to put in effort to get out a nice result. That no matter what, good professor, bad professor, that is on you to be part of making your experience valuable. And I just do your best with that, right? And then I think you'll do great and you'll have a good time. I mean, of course, I can't make those promises. It's just, you increase your chances of having good experiences, right? You're watching a YouTube video on how to get Arch on a VM. It's like an hour long. Yeah, those videos can be long. No worries. I wasn't saying anything overly important. Just that, school can be tough, and just remember the positive reasons why you're there. School can be tough but beneficial for you. Learning is a lot of fun. Just saying stuff like that while I'm not focusing. All right, so this is half the height divided by 2. Oops. Plus half the thickness, I guess, plus the thickness. I think that makes some sense. Well, try to keep yourself entertained. Kind of hard with COVID though. Yeah, well, man, that's the thing, eh? It's such a bummer that there's all this lockdown stuff happening. It's totally a real shame. Does definitely make things harder. And I don't blame anyone for feeling kind of stuck. There's a lot of that, don't want to sugarcoat it. It sucks, right? COVID, don't want it. I don't want to see it. Oh, I realize there's definitely better ways that I could write this. I'll have to refactor it later. But alas, another time. I also don't know if I'm doing this completely correctly, but we will find out soon. All right, let's see if that works. Oh, I almost had it. I did something wrong on which one of these? This should be the height. And this should also just be T. Oh, I see. Okay, I think that might be good. Let's try bringing that border size up just to see if it calculates new positioning properly. Woo, it worked. Yo, I'm into it. Love it. Love to see it. Okay, so now I can actually change the definition of center unit C to just be this. What time is it? 4 o'clock. Okay, cool. Cool. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Oh man, that is pretty good. Let's bring this down. Let's scale it down too, eh? Why not? Whoop, a little aggressive there on the resize. Hey, that worked. Perfect. All right, good. One step at a time. All right, let's have a look at what this needs to have. Probably I'll stream for another half hour or so. I think that's reasonable. Let's see. Zoning out for a second, giving my brain a mental break for 30 seconds or so. All right. All right, let's have a look at this one. Have to make these star shapes now. Ugh. My hat. There we go. I have to parse this in my brain, and it's giving me... Oh boy. Well, well, well. All right, so let's focus in on this one. That's what I need to do. I just need to remember what the dimension of the inner square is, and then I can use that as a good reference. There are these squares here, so it looks like they're probably the dove white color, and I'm gonna guess they're 2 inches as the final dimension, but I have to check. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong doc here. I need this one. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be this one, 2 inches. Okay. Oop, too far. All right. Here we go. Making all kinds of ridiculous noises right now. Apologies. Yeah, small star unit. And here we go. Def small star unit. All right. Oh, excuse me, I am getting a little tired. Line up along X with a 0 gap the following. Let's make square rectangle 1 inch with needs a color. Style. I'll figure out the color in a minute. The line up takes square and FG unit C and then another square. That's A. And then B. Yeah, B is another lineup along X, no gap. It's going to be, I feel like all programmers wear a hat. I mean, sometimes if it's cold. I don't always wear this hat, but I don't have any hair, so, you know, sometimes it's nice to keep the dome a little warm, you know? But yeah, a lot of programmers do, for sure. It's an accessory, man. Dude, friend, whatever. You want to shave your head too? Go for it. It's nice and simple. Doesn't cost you, you don't have to go to a barber or a hairdresser or anything like that. It's really easy. Just takes a bit for people to get used to it, but it's not bad. And I like it. I think I look okay with it. What was this next one? Oh yeah, it's a rotate 90 degrees. And the middle piece is gonna be, oops. Two-inch square. the same style, which I haven't looked. Oh, it's Dove White, of course. No, this is not Dove White. It's Meadow Slate, I think. This one is Dove White. Rotate 270. Oop. Flying Geese Unit C. And here, the last thing is a line up along Y with 0 gap of ABA. All right. We are almost there. Okay, these ones are Dove White. Whoop, beep, ah. Dove, whoop. All right, let's see if my code works. It does not. I love it. Love it when that happens. Typo. Oh, wow. I was almost exactly right, except for the one part that was wrong. If you ignore the parts of my code that are wrong, I got it right. It counts. I'll take it. Yeah, so actually this has to be rotated 180 degrees. Hopefully that works. Yeah, sweet. Yo, that's awesome. All right, that's really good for that piece. Oh, figure 11 is small star unit. Right, here we go. Now at these I want to translate 0.1, 0.1, maybe. It's beautiful. Thing of beauty, that. I think something went wrong. Oh, no. Nothing did. I just didn't see the change. Where is it? There we go. I will be right back. Just gotta check something. think something went wrong on the render here. I don't see changes happening. Oh no, this is why. I'm changing the wrong number. Classic. Classic mistake. This should be what? The last figure was 10. This should be 11 here, which means actually this here, figure 11. Need to wrap this in an emphasis tag. Oh, excuse me. I sneezed. Where was I? Yes, making these things. That's what I was trying to do. Strong. There we go. Let's take this. Oh. Whoa. Hey, there we go. That looks a little nicer, I think. Maybe even make it 24. That's pretty cool. Oops. Ooh, nice. Can make that a really small. Okay, so that is the small star unit. Let's make the same general construction for the large star unit, which I do believe has the same color scheme. Well, maybe it's different. No, it looks the same. Yeah, it's the same. Perfect. Ooh, actually, no, I'm wrong about one thing. What am I wrong about? Large star unit. The color I have to check for a minute here. Oh, I also, oh man, I'm hopping around a little bit right now. I'm realizing I missed things here and there. Ooh. There we go. There we are. And I can't wait to automate this part of my process. It's going to be a lot of fun when I don't have to do this stuff manually. I've already started on some scripting to help with data extraction from the original customer doc. So that'll be part of the next workflow process, but I wish I could get it. I wish I had it ready now, but not quite there yet. Okay, fabric C and E. C is dove white, E is this, wait a minute, A, B, C, D, E. Oh, Mary Lou blue. I have the wrong blue. Let's change that then. There we go. Otherwise, we're good. Righto, righto. Now this gets copied, and I make one more of these units. I should have done this better, but that's just fine for now. Okay, so the 6.5 star has a 3-inch center, which makes okay, so that makes the flying thing 1.5 by 3. So I have to make this 1.5, 1.5, 3, 1.5. Right? Yes. That should be okay. And then the large star unit has a square of 1.5 here. And it's not Meadow Slate, it is Mary Lou Blue. There we are. And this is unit D. Okay, that should be good. Large star unit. Translate it. Let's translate it just the same. Kind of small like that. The dimensions of this one are probably 170, 170. Let's scale it to 24 as well. And here we reference large star unit. Save it. Let's see if I got it correct. It's very wrong, and I know why. Well, I kind of know why. I did a few things wrong. I love it. That's fun. That looks fun. Okay, so this is kind of a good fix. The square on the inside here is not 1.5. This one is 3. The unit D is correct here and correct here, so that's good. This rectangle, oh no, this is 1.5. This one is 3. I also think I have the wrong reference here. There. Okay, I think that should fix it. Almost. Almost. All right, what's the deal? What's going wrong? Oh, I know. I didn't offset the... This is now wrong. So this is 1.5, and then 1.5 divided by 2 is 0.75. There we go. It's a thing of beauty. Love to see it. All right, let's see if I can get one more figure done before I call it for the day, and the weekend for that matter. What does figure 13 kind of look like here? Oh boy. Okay, so I have to... There's two corner types. I have to make a diagram for this. Wait a second, am I missing something? I might have missed a step here. Oh, here, see, I missed these. Uh-oh. Shoot. Well, now I'm going to have to go back a little bit and try to fix it. Okay, so using simple border, I can actually make this work quite nicely. I hope. Well, so what I actually have to do is this strategy a few times. Okay, here we are. So this one is meadow pine, but this middle one is A. So that's the... Oop. There's that, and this is 3. It's 9:25. I'm super tired. Come back tomorrow if you're on. So I don't stream on weekends usually. I'm Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So won't see you on the weekend, but have a good weekend yourself, and maybe I'll see you around some other time, eh? Good luck with everything, and I hope you have a good weekend. Yeah, and get some sleep. get some of that good sleep. Yeah, you have a great weekend too. Thanks for tuning in. It's fun. Fun chatting. Okay, here we go. Come back with more questions. Yeah, no problem. And I might not always have the best answers, but I always try to help if I can. So, questions are totally welcome. Ooh, close. All right. Yeah. All right. Okay, so this simple border function is definitely going into the automation compartment. It's very useful. It stays. I keep it. I like it. All right, let's try to get one more little thing kind of done here if I can. Figure 13. All right, let's get this little edit out of the way. Wrap these in some strong tags. Corner units. Okay, let's try to make a little bit of a corner unit here. So, the name of the game is to make one of these. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Have a little bit of an idea. Corner unit. Let's do let. Line up along x with 0. Okay, so A is just going to be take 18. Was it 18? Shoot, I already forget. I think it was. Yeesh. Okay, so take 18 from interleave. How does the interleave work again? Let's take 18 of interleave range, or no, repeat 1, repeat 2, Yeah, okay, that's exactly what I wanted. Square A is a rectangle of size 1, 1 with, gotta do this. Styling. Meadow, slate. And square B. B and D. Okay, so B is meadow slate, D is Jing dot eggnog. Repeat square A, repeat square B. I think this will work. Famous last words, right? Let's just return A and test it. So figure 13 is going to be, drum roll, corner unit, of course. Gotta use the right names for things. Hey, that looks pretty good. Clojure pad list. Partition 2, step size of 1 with a pad of what? What does pad do? Not sure I understand this. Oops. Trying to think of a really clever way to do this, but I'm just gonna do it the cheesy way for the time being. I want to line up another one of these. It's exactly the same, but just take 16 instead. And I want to see now if I do line up Y, 0 gap AB. I forget what that's gonna spit out here. I don't know if it'll center my row for me. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, so I do have to pad it. I have to pad each row forward unless I add a unless I add an ability to um, I don't know. It would make sense to have some options for. Oh wait, maybe I can't remember. Maybe I do have a different function called center lineup or something like that. Well, let's not worry about it. I will just come up with a way to pad things. I'll put one pad in there and then I'm going to go because it's almost time for me to go. Where was I? Step 11. That's the wrong thing. This is the step 11 I need. It's time for a break soon, I'll tell you that. Okay, so here, figure 13 has the corner unit. So I'm editing the corner unit. That's what I'm having a look at here. So this I have to do like this. Pad is the same thing with clear class and no, yeah, that should be okay. So here I just need to if I concat list 1 2 3 with list 4 5 6, yeah, right, so here concat pad. Oh, you know what? Let's concat take 1 repeat pad, and then I can turn this after my break into an anonymous function, and then I can use that. You know what? Maybe I should just do that right away, huh? How about that? Row fun is this okay, so I'm going to pass into it the row index. Oop. No, I want to pass into it the row size. Let's change this. Function. Max row and max n and n should do it, right? That should be sufficient. So here take is n, and then here take is max n minus n. Yes, that should be correct. I think that's right. It's a little hard to follow maybe, but let's see if it works. So A, well, now let's not do A. Let's just do this. And let's line up. Let's take this first one, row function. Max n is 18, and the current number is 18. And then let's do this one, row function 18, 16 is the current. Let's do one more, 14, which I realize if this works, I can map it and make it even smaller. Yes, okay, it works. Yo, I love it. So let's change this now. Let's do map row function. Actually, let's do partial here. Partial row function taking 18 as the max. And let's just map it over I'm lazy still. 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. There's probably a clever way to make that list, but doing it that way is fine too. And if that works, I'm a happy man. Oh, I have to let's make this bigger to see it, translate it. You know what, let's just translate to 0, 0. If this works, we're good. That's amazing, I love it. All right, that's going to be it for me. I am really happy with that. It's not done yet because I have to add some things to it, but it's a good start for sure. And right, I'll be on my way. I hope everyone has a good weekend. That's all I've got to say. I will be back on Monday, and goodbye.